Burgundy Phoenix is calling in right now. Let's add her to the call. And ladies and gentlemen, gives me good pleasure that I am joined with actress all the way from California, Burgundy Phoenix. She is joining me right now, right here on Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C. Good evening, Burgundy.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing real good, and thank you for being on the show this evening.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
All right, so I just wanted I mentioned this just moments ago. Happy belated birthday to Carlos. His birthday was several days ago, and I interviewed him about a month ago alongside with
Yeah,
the cast of Hidden Valley. Are you a part of that movie by any chance?
not as of right now, but who knows? You never know what can happen. But I definitely will tell him that you said happy birthday. That's super cool. Yeah, his birthday was the second, so he'll appreciate that.
All right, that's cool. Maybe you can make your cameo, at least a cameo experience on the
I
movie.
know, right? I'll just walk on the screen really quick and then walk off.
Yeah, it's a horror movie. You just want to get there, just get out.
Exactly. You just show up and maybe I'll scream and then I'll walk. No, as of right now, there's nothing in the works for me, but definitely people should check it out. It should be a really great film. So we're really excited for him.
All right, so let's get to learn more from you. And you plenty of stuff to get into, so let's get started. Before we get into it,
Okay.
talk a little bit about yourself and how did your acting career get started.
Okay. So I'm originally from Tucson, Arizona. Go Wildcats! And I grew up pretty much from the age of 2.5 years old dancing ballet. And so from there, it just stemmed into theater and voice lessons and any sort of dance you can think of. I really didn't get too much involved in the film until about 6 years ago, and I've been here in LA about 3 years. So, but I just remember when I was a little girl watching, and it's so cliche, but I mean, this was my story. I was watching The Wizard of Oz, and Judy Garland just lit up the entire screen for me. And I remember telling my mom, that's what I want to do. And so they really encouraged me growing up to do anything with the arts and performing, and especially with ballet, being on stage my entire life. It was a good foundation for me, especially, working in the arts. So other than the Judy Garland moment, my parents were pretty strict. So we didn't have cable, and we weren't allowed to watch, anything that wasn't like G-rated. So I was only able to watch like Black Beauty and National Velvet and watch actresses like, Judy Garland, Audrey Hepburn. As I got older, they allowed me to watch people like Vivian Leigh, but those are all really, some of the huge actresses from that time that have really been a huge influence on me. And then, of course, from a comedic standpoint, like Carol Burnett, even Barbara Streisand, and I can't think of her name right now. Oh my gosh, Bette Midler. I'm drawing a blank. Those were people that I always thought were really funny without being, extremely over the top, but yet they were. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, so I came here. I decided almost 3 years ago that as much as I love where I'm from, I didn't have the opportunities nor was the training available for the career that I wanted. So I decided very quickly to literally sell everything that I had and drive here with my car, my clothes, and my shoes, and like $500 to my name. And I stayed with somebody when I first came out here and met Carlos pretty quickly before I moved here, and then developed into us moving in together and talking about, where we could really help and support each other in the career path that we both wanted to take. And yeah, and here I am.
In the
That seems
West,
like it was sort of like a
in the
I'm sorry, what was that?
in the West is history. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Now I hear this is very interesting. Uh, you
Hmm.
was a part of an R&B singing group called Divinity. Talk about that experience.
I was. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, and I was working as a cashier at this retail store, believe it or not. And these two women came up to me, one of my very dear friends to this day, Sasha Crosby, came up and said, do you sing? And I said, what? And they said, do you sing? And I said, yeah, why? And they said, well, we're trying to start a little girl group. It's called Divinity. And they were so excited that I sang. They started talking 100 miles an hour. And before I knew it, I was with a producer by the name of Sydney. And we just started singing and collaborating and doing, a show here and there. We didn't really get too into it. I actually moved back to Tucson about 6 months after getting. We did get to do an opening act for Smokey Robinson and Miracles, which was pretty cool. And I look back on that video and I'm horrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But it was a great experience. And as I said earlier, I've been a trained singer since I can remember. I mean, I grew up in church, and so my mom always had me in every church choir type of assembly that you could think of, and then they got me voice lessons, and I've always loved to sing. Music is a huge part of who I am, so it's definitely formed the type of artist that I want to be, and I really feel like it stems into everything: singing, dancing, acting. I mean, they're all such specific art forms, and they all require so much passion and so much training and so much dedication and sacrifice. And so, yeah, girl group. I can't believe I actually have to have somebody know about that. That's really funny.
Hey, it's a nice story. It's intriguing, and it's something that you wanted to do. And I wish I could have heard the music and everything. But it's good to see that you at least you expanded yourself, and now here you are, this well-established actress, and who knows, is maybe you'll get back to singing someday. But I know you're super busy with the acting and everything, and you wanted to promote a couple of films that you're going to be a part of, and we're going to start off with Speed Dragon. Talk about that movie.
Yes. Speed Dragon was a really great, I feel personally like it's going to be a cult classic. We've talked to a couple of people that have heard of the concept, and were there on set with us, and we all sort of agree. I mean, it was probably the most fun I've ever had on set. It's a rock and roll drama, and it follows the life of the downfall of a singer when, fame and money and drugs, sex, and rock and roll are introduced into somebody's life, and they're not used to it, So Dan Frank is the director in that film, and he was great to work with. I mean, we all pretty much showed up and, got a lot done in a very short amount of time, and the quality of the work that was done is just great. I mean, there's a character by the name of Betty, and that's the role that I played. Carlos actually played Dave, a role of one of the band members in that film as well. Bai Ling was in that film as Jackie, and so it's fun. It was a great film. It has a great story. There's some really great little hidden secrets in the film, and there's some rivalries between the Betty and Jackie character, which is really great, and that was a lot of fun. And working with somebody like Bai Ling, which that was I hadn't worked with an actress who had been in as many films and been working as long as she has, was a really great lesson. She was so great in helping everybody understand, if somebody had a question, or if it wasn't, if somebody didn't know exactly what direction she was going with something, she was very open to discuss all that. So it was a cool way to sort of get my hands wet, if you know what I mean, or hands dirty rather, with the Jackie and Betty characters. But it was a great film, and that film actually was pretty much guaranteed that it has a 10-city distribution, and that it will be, I believe, out February 2013, and we're hoping it will get into the Cannes Film Festival in France as well. So if that happens, we are heading to France.
Bonjour. How about that?
I know, right?
Yeah, and for more info on the movie Speed Dragon, you can check out the website www.speeddragonmovie.com. Carlos will be in the film, and Burgundy will be on the film as well. The next movie is
as well.
the next movie is American Girls, and you play the role of Brittany Palmer. Talk about that film.
So that film was it was my first major feature in coming to LA, and the director Eric Pieria and one of the producers I had met at one of our events. We actually have the same publicist, and she basically approached me. Her name is Divinity, and she's very well known in the horror culture, and she's great. So she approached me about it at an event one time and said, this is the concept that we have. American Girls is actually a story based on 3 teenage girls, 2 of which were brutally murdered in Australia in the 90s. And so we, of course, the screenplay and names and everything have been changed to protect the families, and we went ahead and started production the beginning of this year on that film. And it was great to be able to play, I got to play a 17-year-old girl back in high school who was, a little awkward, and my best friend Cindy was like the typical blonde, cute cheerleader, and, the Ashley Taylor, which is what Devaney played, was the bad girl. So it was a lot of fun to go back into that sort of character and to dig up some of those memories of being in high school and being the awkward person, because that was very much who I was. So, but the film itself has, a great storyline. I think that the way that it's coming together, they're hoping that by the end of this year, I believe, it will be out, and I think it's being sent to distribution at some point this month. So that should be available in some way, shape, or form at the end of this year, beginning of 2013. So there were some really talented people that worked on that one as well. Josh Hammond, Carlos actually was in that one as well. He played a drug lord by the name of Andrew Benson, very scary character. And there's some pretty gruesome scenes in it, but everything that's in it is, everything was very necessary for the film in order to make sense to the audience and to make, a point to how sad these stories actually were. When we did the research on them, it was just, it was heartbreaking to see these families and these girls and what they went through and what these 2, men did. It was just horrific. So, but it was something that I was very honored to portray somebody who had that short of a life. Their life was cut short due to something so horrific. So.
And for more info on American Girls, you can like their fan page on Facebook. You just type American Girls, and it should be there. You can click, just search American Girls, and it will lead you to the page, and you can like the page. And before we get to the next movie, there's a Mike in the chat room on itmiradio.com, and he goes on to say, Burgundy is one of the best, wonderful talent, lovely, great person, and she respects the craft, tireless work ethic, and awesome performer. That is.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That means so much. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely something that I do, and I do is I respect the idea of what it means to be an actress and to have that responsibility. Before I moved here, I can honestly say that although I had been acting, quote unquote, for my entire life, I didn't really understand the idea of it until I came here to LA, and I was pushed into a situation where technique was huge, and I didn't have the major technique that everyone had. And so when I started going and I taught with and studied with Laura Henry, she's an amazing Meisner teacher. I can't even tell you what she's done for me, and I continue to learn with her every time I have a class. All the way to the Alexander technique with Julia Calder in Santa Monica. She's amazing. I teach currently at the Chekhov International Studio with Mariarika, and she has opened up so much as far as, body work and things of that nature that I didn't even know I was capable of some of the things that she's helped me with. And I'm also currently at the Stella Adler School, and I'm in a character development class with Tim McNeil, who is phenomenal. So I never realized how important the training was. I mean, being a dancer, you would think it would be common sense to know, yeah, you train for this many years and then it's time, it's a process. But for some reason with acting, I didn't really give it that sort of respect until I moved here. And I had to take a step back and look at what I really wanted and the type of actor that I wanted to be, because it's very easy for people to have a career here, but I don't want to just have a career. I want to be able to make a difference, and I know that's, sounds pretty far-fetched, but it's something that really means something to me. So I live and I breathe it, or I try anyway.
Burgundy, Phoenix, all natural, no doubt about it. So you're gonna have to help me on the pronouncing this next movie. Cess, is it Cess Mag?
Oh,
yeah,
C'est Magique.
Yes, that sounds kind of French.
That film. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You already mentioned it, so go ahead and talk about it.
So, C'est Magique is a short film that a friend of mine by the name of Fabian, who is originally from Paris, asked me if I wanted to come and help out. She's a ballet dancer as well. She's gorgeous, lovely, very talented. She not only starred in the film, but she wrote and directed and pretty much did all the casting. And, I mean, she's great. And the crew and cast on that was also, they were really fun to work with. But I just did a cameo for her in the film, and it actually went to the Cannes Film Festival this year. And it won an award at the Feel Good Film Festival as well this year. So, yeah, that film was, it also took me back to being a dancer full time, to where the rivalry between dancers and when you audition, and it's very similar to LA, very cutthroat, very competitive, and you never know who to trust, really, So, yeah, that film, I'm really proud of her. We're hoping that can be turned into a feature, and I know that's what she's working towards. She's actually in France right now, so hoping to see her soon on that.
Now, this next project, which is directed by Richard Montez, you are in a cameo with Carlos, will be playing the lead of a transgender named Sandra. Talk about this film.
So this film is called a Guru Phobia. And basically, a very quick synopsis is that it's based around a guru and a woman who is agoraphobic, which is the opposite of claustrophobic. It's somebody who's scared of large spaces. And Richard Montez is the director, and it's starring Jade Puga. She is also the writer of the film. And yes, Carlos will be playing a transgender female role named Sandra, which I have to say has been so much fun to see him transform, when they did makeup tests and trying on outfits. And I'm just looking forward to being on set so I can help him get dressed and take a lot of pictures and, hopefully share them if he steps out of line. No, I'm just kidding. So, but it's a really fun comedy, and I'm just doing a little cameo role, which, for me, it's like whatever. It's what I love doing. So that should be really exciting. And they start shooting on that, I believe, sometime next week.
And for more info on that film, you can go to www.guruphobia.com.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you being one of the busiest actress I ever known, as we continue, you got this MMA training for 6 months, and you have a femme fatale role coming up soon for a film called The Dead Live Still. Talk about that.
So I was actually approached by Eric Pierre. He's the director from American Girls, about a film with some of the people that I worked with on American Girls, and they offered me the role of Joan Carpenter. And she basically is like, think Angelina Jolie meets Sigourney Weaver, very femme fatale, sort of like she kicks major tail, So I literally started, preparing for it, and then production got held up. And so we're hoping to start filming, I think they said December, January, but it was actually a huge blessing in disguise because I met this MMA trainer by the name of Tony Villalobos, and he has a studio by the name of Katana Fitness where he teaches self-defense, and he's been an MMA trainer for over 20 years. I think it's something like 22 years, but he's amazing, and he kills me every time. I know you're listening out there, Tony, but yeah, he kills me, and he's also taught me so much about self-defense, about what is real versus, somebody on film doing something that everybody may think like, wow, that was really cool, but breaking it down just like with any part of acting and really looking at the specifics of it in order for it to be truthful. And so it's like how to hold the gun right, how to hold, a stance right, how to hold your hand right when you punch, and so I've been doing that, and the more I do it, I train with another actress by the name of Tara Crespo, who is also very talented, and we are hoping to do some stuff together. We have some things possibly in the works that are going to be starting to come together soon. So that should be really exciting. But yeah, it's definitely different. There's the idea of flexibility from a ballet dance standpoint, and then there's flexibility from a martial arts standpoint. And at the beginning, I was like this little dancer jumping and twirling around, and he was like, "What are you doing? You can't point your foot, you'll break it." I'm like, "Oh, that's a good point." And then when I'd go to turn, I would like throw my arms out like to turn for a ballet. So he's definitely helped me pay specific attention to my body and, to making things, realistic, and so that I don't, hurt myself, kill myself, break a bone, things like that.
Now that you got this MMA training going down, people will learn to respect you, and if they don't, you'll take matters into your own hands. So,
yeah.
Anyone, don't mess with Burgundy Phoenix. She'll open up a can on you. Self-defense, but you will be hurt nonetheless.
Yes, exactly.
So, check out the links that for more info on Burgundy. She's on IMBD. That's imdb.me/Burgundy Phoenix. Like her on Facebook on facebook.com/Burgundy Phoenix. Her website is www.burgundyphoenix.com, and follow her on Twitter at Burgundy Phoenix. And the last thing we want to get into, we're running out of time, but quickly if you can, talk about the sponsors.
Sure, yeah. I've been very lucky to be surrounded by some really great people here in LA. And I've been in the process of networking with several people, several sponsors for about a year and a half now. And a couple of those have been huge supporters of mine, and I of them, and have really been very accommodating whenever I wanted to use some of the things for a movie, such as Bear Paw shoes. They're great. I mean, they're like the American UGG, and I don't care what anybody says. I love them 10 times more than the UGG, even before they were my sponsors. So I've done, a couple Closet Crasher interviews with them. The second one will be on their bearpawstyle.com, and they're a part of Sporty LA, and they're a really great company. Refi USA, I just did a skincare campaign for the #1 Japanese skincare product called Refa, and they've been really, really great. Trinity of Youth, if anybody out there seriously has, dry skin or things that they're worried about anti-aging, this stuff is amazing, and you can find it trinityofyouth.com. Tata Harper Skincare, they have been fabulous in the sense that when I met them at a gifting lounge, and they have done everything to accommodate and be really aggressive about what kind of skincare will help me, especially being an actress and I do print modeling and things like that. It's like my skin and my face, my body is my marketing tool. It's exactly what I have to keep up on. And so they've been great to help me find a really great skin regimen. I also did a photo shoot for Raffia Jewelry, and Raffia, you can find that at raffiajewelry.com. She's an LA-based designer. Her pieces are beautiful, very elegant. We did a Hollywood glam photo shoot, so you can see pictures up there. Kate Mesta, she is one of Carlos's and my favorite designers. She does a lot of fleur-de-lis type of army necklaces and bracelets. The one she did for me, we went to the Magic Convention in Vegas, and she did this amazing London, like Abbey Road, Beatles-themed necklace and bracelet for me, which I'm obsessed with. And she's just a huge supporter as well of Carlos's and my films and any work that we do. One of our great designer friends, her name is Jasmine Whitley. She has a line called Likari. She's been super helpful in helping me get dressed for events and letting me borrow clothes at the last minute, and she's just been a huge help. Star Alexander, you are amazing. She's my personal makeup artist / hair person / everything. She's a great friend as well as everybody that I've mentioned. And Ani has also helped me. She's a friend of Star's and mine that helps style me from time to time. And it's just been really great to have somebody help me when I need help getting ready, because being a natural girl is definitely what I'm about. So that means natural, long, nappy, frizzy, curly hair, and I can't do it by myself. So, and just, everybody that's really helped to support me thus far. It's been a huge journey for me, and I'm just barely at I'm still in the negatives. I'm not even at zero in my opinion, but I wouldn't be able to do it without the support of, my family and, Carlos and all of these great people that I've mentioned. And if I forgot to mention any of you, you know that I love you. Stacey Sterling, I love you too. All right. So that's it. Thank you for letting me.
Hey, it's all good, and I appreciate you for being on for nearly a half an hour. Again, check out the movies, follow her on Twitter, check out the website, and everything. Just remember the name Burgundy Phoenix, all natural, and she's going places. Thank you for your time, Burgundy.
Thank you so much.
And you have a good evening.
Okay, you have a good weekend.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Burgundy Phoenix.